Hello, I am Mudita, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Right before 1.0 launched, I put out this video that covered the new compact load balancing style I'm going to use in this playthrough. It goes through smelters up to assemblers. Today, I want to go over the compact load balancing I'm going to use with refineries. Let's start simple and work our way up. So let me show you how I did the 2 refinery setup. Alright, we'll get that basically in the middle, I think. Should be on the other side. Really doesn't matter. Okay, so let me start with the lifts because I'd rather do the lifts up top and keep the pipes on floor level just so I don't have to mess with head lift where I don't need to. So in the interest of trying to keep this as compact as reasonable, I know I could definitely get things more compact, especially if I went with an underfloor logistics. But I really like seeing everything move around, so we're going to try to keep it a little bit compact, but we're going to keep it on the floor. So normally this is where I would do it, and that's how my blueprints in the past have gone. But I'm going to do things a little bit different, and we're going to see if we can nudge this 1 meter in. And then we're only going to go up 2 spaces. So this does have this splitter clipped ever so slightly into the refinery. So if you're not a big fan of that, I completely understand. I went back and forth about whether I cared or not, and it turns out I don't really care. Mainly because there's going to be so much going on, you really have to get in here and find that spot that's clipping. It's going to be not exactly hidden, but not easy to see. Alright, so let's just go ahead and use our stackable here. Make sure it's in line with the splitter, and now I need to make sure that it's 2 meters from the center point of that right there. So now if I grab this, it's not going to, right? Because it wants to come out that extra meter. So if I connect it to the stackable pole first, and now spin it around, now it's going to connect. I can do the same thing on this side. 1, 2. And now we can connect these. Alright, so let's switch to pipes and we'll get this centered. So I think we can bring it to, so we can have it right here. I think, let me see. Oh, that's not too bad. So unfortunately we don't have straight pipes yet. So the easiest way to do this is just to go back 2 meters from the center. Just do it old school. How we used to always have to make all of these connections. Oh, and I didn't center this though, so let's try this again. Alright, so it should be halfway on this lift right here is where the center point. Okay, so that's where, let's see. So that does clip a little bit, but same thing, it's not too bad, so I am just going to roll with it. And since we don't really need these supports, I'm just going to remove them. So that's pretty compact. And as far as the power goes, in my large factory, I know the floors are all 8 foundations tall. So I basically went up 9, zoop across, and it would help if I came to the side where the power connections are. So I did that, and then I just kind of ran these straight up, since I know that is where my ceiling is going to be. So for your factory, you may want to adjust this or do power completely different. There's a whole bunch of different ways. I love that you can nudge it onto nothing and still place it. And then I just connect them. And then that way, that's already taken care of. I just don't have to worry about doing that later. Just got to connect all the different blueprints together. I haven't done anything with the outputs, and that's basically because I don't feel like making just a whole bunch of different variations of all of these. So what I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to throw down a blueprint designer. I'm going to pick which one that I need. We'll go ahead and use the 2 refinery as an example. So say I need 2 of them because I'm only making, smokeless powder or something like that. And so I would much rather be able to just kind of create my own blueprint for each specific recipe that I end up doing. So I would do this, since the output is a solid, then I would come over here, I would place the merger, and I can get it in the direction that I want it to go. And then I would just resave this as 2 refineries, you know, smokeless powder. And then that way, when you have bigger ones, like say you're gonna need 50 refineries, then I can come in here and I can load up my 5 blueprints and I can change it, because there's going to be times where I don't need any of these solid inputs, so I would just delete those. Since often you're going to use one or the other. Sometimes you'll use both. I'd rather just make those to fit the factory when I get there. Okay, so the 3 refinery blueprint is really simple. The difference is we can't make this quite as compact. 2 refineries, I can turn these sideways and get this really close. This one, that's a little bit harder. So that right there is where it normally would go. So if I push this in 1 more meter, we'll go up to 2. Delete those. And now if I connect from here into there, we've gotten rid of the accordion. Now I just need to do that with the other 2. So if I line these up with the edge of the splitter, they'll come to the exact spot I'm looking for. So you got to connect to the stackable first and then into the machine. And then they'll all be the exact same length. And now they'll make the nice right angle turn right into the splitter. Alright, and I could get the pipe a little bit tighter, but since this is taking up that spot anyways, I can just avoid a little bit more clipping. And then I would just add the power connections like I did with the 2. And now we finally get to cheat. So to make the 4, I am just going to take the 2, make sure that I have enough room in the back for when I do need to edit this. So we'll place 1, and then we'll go ahead and just slap down the second one right next to it. So now I just need to combine the 2. So for the power, just 1 more cable. Actually, we can just remove the pipes right now. I'm going to redo that. Okay, so without the pipes, it's a little bit easier. So to bring this all together, I'm going to find the middle spot, which should be there, I think. And then let's make sure this is lined up with the other splitters. Perfect. And then we're going to go 1 higher. And the nice thing is now that we're at this height, there is no clipping with this one. It's just real close. Okay, so I could use the stackable, or this is kind of the one time where I think using the normal conveyor pull is actually a little bit easier, because then it's just 1 item. So I get it to the top of the splitter, and then if I connect it to the conveyor pole and then spin it around, I can get a nice little short lift here. Go ahead and delete my conveyor poles. And then from here, I can connect those into that splitter. And now I've combined both blueprints, and then I can place this wherever I want to, or I'd probably just leave it blank just in case those are just going to come in at that height. You never know. Okay, so for the pipes, I am going to place a junction in front of both of the middle 2 refineries. So we just want to get it lined up with the machine, and then as close as we can get it to where it's not going to clip. Nice and close, but no clipping. Perfect. And now I can just delete my pipeline supports, so I don't need them. And now I can plug in the water or crude oil or whatever it is into either one of these junctions. And that should give me just enough space to bring this down. Oh. Turns out I need that to be over a meter. So there we go. It wasn't quite lined up right. Now I can bring this down, and it's not going to clip into the pipe right next to it. Perfect. And there's 4 refineries. Pretty compact. So now we're finally to the exciting part. The 5 refinery blueprint. And this is why I really needed to switch to the Mark II. Alright, so we'll line it up on the back end, make sure I have room for the mergers. So only 4 are gonna fit in here. So this is kind of going back to my old style of I need 2 blueprints. But I'm pretty proud of the way it all came out. So let's do the belt work first, because the pipes are pretty easy. Alright, so let's work with the assumption that there's going to be one more right here. And I'll show you how to make that blueprint right after. We'll have these 3 connected, and then it'll be these 2 are connected, and that third part of the splitter will be going back to the merger. So just to get the spacing, let's go ahead and place that split there. And then, yeah, we're going to place this right here. We'll go up 2. Delete that. Alright, so this part's nice and easy. We just need to get these in the same spot. So this one and this one are going to be right here. And we can connect these belts. Terrific. So this needs to be getting it from another splitter. So we're actually going to place one and spin it around right there. And then we can place a lift on this side. So let me give you a quick example of what this is, even though I'm sure most of you have seen this before. So this is how I'm doing a 5-way split. We have a merger to start. It goes into a splitter. And then we do this and this. Alright, so you've got the initial mount coming in, whatever that is, right? You got the merger, and then that goes into a splitter. That splitter splits it in half between 2 different splitters. So now we have 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4, 5. But to make sure that all 5 of these are equal, I need to use this third one because I used all 3 over here. So to get that to work, we send that back into the merger. With that cycling back, I forgot to make it daytime. So this right here is what I am trying to create, but in a much more compact and more vertical way. Okay, so with that out of the way. So this right here, I really wish there was more painted spots on splitters because it's really kind of hard to tell. So this blue splitter right here is this one right here. And this yellow one is that one. So now let's make the other half. So make sure it's in line with the other ones. And then this one, instead of going up 2, we're going up all 3. And that's going to plug. Oh, there we go. Now it's facing the right way. So that goes into there. And then we do the same thing. And then so this belt is going to connect to that one. But this right here, I need to send back into a merger. So now this right here is where things are going to come in from however you decide to do that. And I don't know, can I get a normal pole to go that high? I can, perfect. Okay, so now I'll just take a stackable conveyor pole right there on the edge. Connect it to that first, spin it around, connect it to the splitter. And there we go. And so this belt right here is this section right here. And now I can plug in the initial amount from either that port or that port. Alright, so let me show you the beauty of this. I can place just the one refinery in this one. So this one is at the 3rd height of the splitters, which is the default height for the lifts. So pretty easy. I can just place that there, except for now it won't be spaced out quite right. So I do need to bring that in by just the 1 meter. Go up by 2, delete it, spin it around, and there we go. Alright, so now it's in the right height, right distance away from the machine. For the pipe work, it's pretty simple. We're going to lock it in place here, and instead of doing it absolutely as close as I can, we're going to go 1 meter out. And the reason for that is the middle 3 refineries are all going to have a junction in front of them. That's not the right one. But the end 2, which is the Cypher blueprint, and then this one, aren't going to. this one right here, instead of having to make 2 pipes, I can get half of this done right now. And so, let's see, we just need to go back 2 meters, so right there. Now the reason I had to bring these out 1 more meter than normal is if I bring this back 1 more meter, it doesn't work. It's too short of a pipe. So we're just gonna go there, and then now when I connect the 2 blueprints, I can just connect this real easily. So it just needs 1 pipe and 1 belt, and then the power connection. And then I went ahead and made a mirrored setup facing the opposite direction, just like I have with a whole bunch of my other blueprints, so that they're really easy to tile together. And the beauty is, the extra blueprint works for either one of these sides. So I only have the 2, the 3, the 4, and then I have A1 and B1, and then there's the AB2. Yeah, my names are horrible. I apologize for that. Okay, so let's run through how these connect. Well, with the 2, you're probably going to leave it as a 2. With the 3 refineries, I can easily make it 6 by adding 1 splitter right in the middle. And I'm just creating these short lifts on the outside by just grabbing the conveyor pole, pulling it up to the right spot, and then creating the lift. And that way you can keep all the splitters in a line. And then with the 4 refinery, you can really easily make it 8 by doing the same thing and adding a splitter right in the middle. And then I could add 2 more, and I could easily make this 16 if I wanted to. You could easily do multiples of 3s with these as well. Instead of the splitter being here, I would just delete those, delete that one. Splitter would go right here. Now the issue is, well, now I've got a really tight space to get a lift in there. Well, now I'm gonna have to rethink things. You can obviously do it manually, but I wanted to create a blueprint that just had the short lift for the splitter input just built in, because then it would just be real easy. Except for I didn't realize that it wouldn't at all snap. I don't know why I didn't think that, but it definitely doesn't. And because this whole thing is a blueprint, I can't snap it in blueprint mode. That's definitely not the right spot. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to actually make this work. That is not something I really thought of. We'll have to figure that out, but we'll just place that there. So now that's gonna go there. This is gonna go there. This one would go there once you create the lift. And then to get the input, I'm just gonna grab a temporary foundation. I'll grab my conveyor pole. Okay, or stackable, because the normal one didn't work. We'll go up 2 spots, connect it to there, and then make sure we're facing the right direction. Then we can delete both of these. And the lift does clip ever so slightly into the refinery. Just a little bit. And then we can delete the temporary foundation, and this is where your mount would come in. And for 12 refineries being load balanced, that's not too bad. And depending on what recipe you're using, you may definitely have to change the piping depending on how many you can actually run. Alright, and then with the 5 refineries, so I've got the A goes on the left, B goes on the right. That way the mergers both have the free section pointing inwards, so that you can put 1 splitter right there in the middle, and bam, you can have 10 refineries all load balanced together. The AB2, weird one, just fits right on the very ends of either of the blueprints and easily connects to it because they're basically just a mirrored setup. So only need 3 blueprints, and then you can kind of tile up in amounts of 5. But like I mentioned before, the way I plan on using these is loading them up into a blueprint designer, setting the recipe ahead of time, changing the colors to, whatever fits. Because I like to match the color to what the refinery is making. Same with the pipes and whatnot, so I wanted these to be super bare bones and really flexible. And not take up a horrendous amount of space. I'm sure you could do a couple things to make this a little bit more compact, but I am pretty happy with this. I'm going to be using quite a few of these blueprints, I have a feeling. So hopefully this inspired you to make your own blueprints, or if you want to check out these and edit them in any way that fits your playthrough, they are available for free on my Google Drive. I think the next thing I'll probably need that I haven't covered is manufacturers, so look forward to that, and thanks for watching.